Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today what I'm bringing to you guys is a brand new video on all of the latest and greatest news and updates from New World, and particularly today we're going to be looking at the forums. Now what you guys will see on the screen initially here is a quick little update to the duplication bug / wealth transfers. Essentially, for those that aren't aware, there was an issue after the February update which allowed players to duplicate the consumable items within the game. This was anything from food and hearty meals all the way up to your honing stones, your oak flesh balm, all of that quite expensive stuff, and particularly the tier 5 gemstone dust, which we know was risen in price when it was then additionally needed for the craft for the mutated expedition keys. Now, this has been an ongoing matter where they've banned a lot of players who were involved within it, and as you can see, these players will receive a 7-day suspension. For those already suspended, this is an extension on their current suspension, etc. This does not apply to players who were permanently banned as a result of utilising this exploit. So essentially what they have is additional players have been identified that were kind of involved with it, and they got bans. And this was, a week ago now that this all came out. And then a few hours ago today, we've seen on the forums that they said, "Hi everyone, we are still working on removing the duplicated items. All temporary suspensions which were a result of the exploit will be extended in order to complete the work being done. Thank you for your understanding." So if you were someone that was banned for exploiting, more fool you for doing it, but you will be there longer on the banned list there. And for those players in-game, that sounds to me like we're not going to be getting some of the items that circulated the market removed, thankfully, because I think without a rollback, there was no proper way to do that. And of course, most players didn't really know if it was duplicated or not, because the prices were so watered down thanks to this duplication that generally a lot of the stuff was just bought and sold and resold, etc. very, very quickly, and of course traded between players for no monetary gain, just dishing out to your companies and such, because some players weren't aware of the exploit and were more just buying it up because they saw the price crash, and of course then made the most of that. So of course they are looking to kind of ban those players and keep those players in check, which I think is the right suggestion. But what is also going to be seeing is those players' inventories emptied of the duplicated items, but hopefully that means that most players that have not duplicated, didn't really want to get involved with it, but did also need to just buy some consumables, don't get penalised too much, because really the average player, it didn't really know too much about this, and even if they did, they didn't dupe it themselves. So yeah, it's a weird one. Without a rollback, I think this is the only way to do it, so hopefully we should be safe there. Now, there's a couple of other things that I wanted to touch on today, and this is in the general discussions tab of the forums. And right here, you will see that this is the March roadmap ETA, and it's basically just asking whether we have any update on the roadmap to be shared this month. And as you would have guessed, Alexander has commented here saying it's coming soon, trademark. Sorry, I can't tell you more at this time. I would assume it's going to be the final week of March. Basically, they said in their previous dev video, for those of you that haven't seen it or haven't seen my coverage video on that, that they would be releasing a roadmap with or just after their March update. Now, my guess is that they will do this alongside their dev update video. What they will probably do is talk about it, show it on screen, read through the plans and kind of explain it as they're going, and then obviously offer a link towards seeing this in an article or something on the website. Generally, what we'll see with this is the developers will want to talk you through it, because if they just release it as a blank document and say, there you go guys, have a look at what we're planning, players will speculate things for themselves, and I would think that probably that will come out with the dev update video, which we usually expect around a few days to a week before the actual content patch or update patch, whatever, goes live at the end of the month. So maybe a week or 2 weeks from the time of this video going up, we should have that in our hands, hopefully. Of course, that is if they're still on track for the release in March, and of course that's just soon. Now, the rest of what I wanted to talk about today is basically revolving around the combat in New World right now, and essentially the jaggedness and kind of the unconnectivity, shall we say, of the attacks and weapons. A lot of players have been posting about this on the forums, on Reddit, and you'll see from the gameplay in the background of this segment of the video from a war which I did literally earlier this evening. Certain parts of it are very, very smooth, very fluid, and it feels great. Other parts are very disjointed and very laggy. Now, this wasn't as bad for me towards the start of the update when I actually made a video talking about how the combat felt to me, and some players were kind of 50-50. Some were saying we're actually good as well, and others were saying I've had a lot of lag issues. Now, of course, the February patch was initially designed to fix these issues and kind of remedy most of the stuff that we had problems with in terms of combat for New World and kind of the way that the fluidity works, the abilities, and then, of course, going in and out of combat and movement mechanics. That generally worked for a little bit, but now seems to have got a bit of backlogged on the server and is producing a fair bit of disjointed combat. Now, they have addressed this several times and said it's something that they're looking into. It's something that they're hoping to fix relatively soon. They're looking into ways they can make this more streamlined and how they can look at the server stuff. But there is a lot of people who are obviously wanting this to be sorted ASAP because the wars themselves are not awfully laggy at the moment, but there is certain things, particularly when you are around the point of A, B, or C in those war environments, or indeed on the points in OPR where lots of players are fighting, where this combat seems to freeze and be a little bit more laggy, even as much as it was before in some situations, which is really annoying, to be honest, because it was really, really great at the start. So hopefully this is addressed soon. It's something that I wanted to pick up on. A lot of people have been putting in the comments and, been asking me if I know anything about it. As of yet, all they've said is they are working on it so we can have our fingers crossed for potentially a weekly update, maybe containing this within the next few days, or of course the March update in a couple of weeks' time from now, fixing this once and for all, but we shall see on that matter. Now, in other news in New World right now, obviously there's lots of players petitioning still for the enemy abilities to be a different colour, particularly in wars. I think most players have a very direct input to this, which is make friendly abilities blue or keep them green for things like Sacred Ground, and make enemy abilities red or with a red outline, because that's the way that the armor sets are dyed for these environments, and it's the same for OPR, so it could work really, really well. I hope that this is something that New World can bring to the table in the near future. It's something that I've certainly been wanting for a while, and I think it would be a great addition to the game, because it would make it a lot more easy to see whether you're about to get Gravwelled and absolutely shredded by about 64 different ice storms, or whether you're actually in a pretty safe location. It's a friendly Gravwell and you might be able to go in and do a bit of damage, but of course, again, that's just something that you're learning to play with for now in the game, but it's something that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, as there is a lot of players putting pressure on the forums, on Reddit, etc., Steam forums, talking about that exact thing, and I think it's something to be aware of in the community at the moment. Other than that, guys, that is pretty much going to be it for today's video. It's just a really quick little community update of things that are happening on the forums and in kind of the main public eye of New World, things that players are asking for at the moment to keep you all in the loop with all of the latest news and updates and info. I think it's just cool to keep in mind what the community is saying at large and kind of big things that are going on. Updates, of course, officially from the developers and community managers on the forums, and then some other stuff that I've kind of correlated from a few different sources I've seen throughout the past week, which I thought would be interesting to most of the players. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one and found it useful to keep yourselves up to date with what is going on. I will be back at you guys very, very shortly with a brand new video, but as always, I would like to thank you for watching, and I will catch you again very, very shortly with a brand new upload. Take care, guys, and peace!